Hello and welcome back. I'm Mr. Luis. In this video, we'll explore mood disorders, also known as affective disorders. These are conditions where a person's mood is seriously disrupted, affecting their emotions and behaviors. This is not just temporary sadness or excitement. Mood disorders can have a major impact on daily life. We'll focus on two major mood disorders: depressive disorder, also called unipolar depression, and bipolar disorder. Let's begin by looking at how these disorders are diagnosed. Mood disorders are diagnosed based on the presence of mood episodes, which are intense periods of depression, mania, or a mix of both. A depressive episode involves feeling very low. A manic episode involves feeling extremely high. A hypomanic episode is a milder version of mania. A mixed episode involves shifting quickly between low and high moods. Mood episodes aren't disorders by themselves, but they form the core of depressive and bipolar disorders. Let's talk about depressive disorder, also called unipolar depression. This disorder is diagnosed when someone experiences a depressive mood, which can include feeling sad, irritable, or emotionally empty. Additionally, they might lose interest or pleasure in their usual activities. Symptoms also include difficulty concentrating, excessive feelings of worthlessness or guilt, recurrent thoughts of death or suicide, changes to eating or sleeping patterns. To be diagnosed with depressive disorder, these symptoms must last for at least 2 weeks, almost every day. Additionally, the person has never had a manic or mixed episode, because that would suggest they have bipolar disorder. There are two types of depressive disorder. Single episode. This is where the person has just one depressive episode. Recurrent. This occurs when someone has 2 or more depressive episodes over time. Now let's move on to bipolar disorder, which involves both high and low mood episodes. There are 2 main types of bipolar disorder. Bipolar Y involves at least one manic episode. A manic episode lasts at least 1 week and includes extreme euphoria or irritability, rapid speech, impulsivity and reckless behavior, excessive self-esteem, making the person feel invincible. Bipolar 2 involves at least one hypomanic episode and at least one depressive episode. The hypomanic episode is less intense than a manic episode, but still includes increased energy, irritability, and talkativeness. However, it does not cause serious disruptions to daily life. Some people with bipolar disorder may experience mixed episodes, where they rapidly shift between manic and depressive symptoms. Note: for more detailed diagnostic criteria, please refer to the DSM-5-TR or ICD-11, the classification systems used by mental health professionals. To measure depression, psychologists often use self-report tools like the Beck Depression Inventory, BDI. The BDI consists of 21 questions. For each one, the person selects the statement that best describes how they've been feeling recently. For example, I get as much satisfaction out of things as I used to. This gets a score of 0. I am dissatisfied and bored with everything. This gets a score of 3. After completing the inventory, the total score is calculated. The score helps determine the severity of depression. A score between 10 and 18 suggests mild depression. A score between 19 and 29 indicates moderate depression. A score above 30 suggests severe depression. It's important to note that the BDI is just one tool used to measure depression. Other methods exist, but this one is the main tool mentioned in your textbook. The biological explanation focuses on brain chemistry and genetics. Dopamine is linked to motivation and pleasure. Low levels lead to lack of energy and pleasure. Serotonin regulates mood, sleep, and appetite. Low levels can lead to sadness, anxiety, and poor sleep or eating habits. Most antidepressant drugs work by increasing serotonin and dopamine, supporting the idea that low levels of these neurotransmitters cause depression. Mental illnesses, including depression, can run in families. Oruc et al., 1997, investigated the role of serotonin receptor and transporter genes in bipolar disorder. Their study did not find any significant genetic differences overall between patients with bipolar disorder and healthy control participants. However, when focusing on females, they found that women with bipolar disorder were more likely to have specific serotonin gene variations compared to the control group. This suggests a potential genetic link in women, though the findings were not conclusive overall. This supports the idea that genetic vulnerability plays a role in mood disorders. The cognitive explanation focuses on how people think. Beck suggested that people with depression often experience a negative thinking pattern. These negative thoughts can be grouped into 3 categories, which is called the Beck's cognitive triad. 1. Negative thoughts about themselves. For example, I am worthless. 1. Negative thoughts about the world. For instance, Everyone hates me. 1. Negative thoughts about the future, such as, nothing will ever get better. These thoughts don't just appear out of nowhere. They come from negative schemas, mental frameworks formed by past bad experiences, and cognitive distortions, which are irrational ways of thinking that lead people to view the world in a pessimistic light. Learned helplessness, Seligman. Now, let's talk about learned helplessness. This concept suggests that people who believe they have no control over negative events may develop depression. They start to feel powerless and stop trying to change their situation. Seligman et al., 1988, demonstrated that when people feel helpless about their circumstances, they are more likely to experience depression. Antidepressant medications. Moving on to treatments, there are 3 main types of antidepressants that are commonly used. 1. Tricyclics. These medications work by increasing serotonin and norepinephrine. While they are effective, they can have side effects, such as drowsiness and weight gain. 1. MAOIs, monoamine oxidase inhibitors. These also increase serotonin levels by preventing its breakdown. They are effective but come with serious side effects and food restrictions that can be dangerous. 1. SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. These are the most commonly prescribed medications today because they increase serotonin while having fewer side effects. Common examples include Prozac and Zoloft. Studies consistently show that antidepressants are most effective for individuals with moderate to severe depression. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. When it comes to psychological treatments, CBT is one of the most effective treatments for depression. The core of CBT is helping people identify and change negative thought patterns. By doing so, patients can restructure their thinking and begin to view their world in a healthier way. Rational emotive behavior therapy, REBT. Another useful therapy is rational emotive behavior therapy, REBT. REBT helps individuals challenge irrational beliefs, such as the idea that everything is their fault or that nothing will ever improve. This therapy encourages people to replace these unhelpful beliefs with more realistic, balanced ones. Key studies to remember. Let's now look at 2 important studies that provide valuable insights into mood disorders. Understanding these studies is crucial for your exams. 1. Oruc et al., 1997, Genetic Explanation of Bipolar Disorder. This study explored whether certain serotonin genes might contribute to bipolar disorder, with a special focus on females. Participants: 42 individuals diagnosed with bipolar disorder, 25 females, 17 males, compared to a control group of 40 healthy individuals. Method: the researchers conducted genetic analysis of serotonin receptor and transporter genes in blood samples from the participants. Results: while no significant genetic differences were found overall, females with bipolar disorder showed higher frequencies of certain gene variations compared to the control group. Ethics: the study ensured informed consent, confidentiality, and used non-invasive testing to collect data. 1. Seligman et al., 1988, Learned helplessness and depression. This study tested whether people with depression have a negative attributional style, meaning they tend to blame themselves for negative events. Participants: the study included 39 individuals with unipolar depression, 12 with bipolar disorder, and 10 control participants. Method: participants completed questionnaires to measure depression severity using the BDI and to assess their attributional style, how they explain negative events in their lives. Results: depressed participants were more likely to blame themselves for negative events, believe that problems would last forever, and think their difficulties affected all areas of life. Ethics: the study paid careful attention to participants' emotional well-being, ensuring that their responses were kept confidential throughout the research process. To wrap up, mood disorders include depressive disorder and bipolar disorder. Diagnosis is based on mood episodes, depression, mania, or mixed. Biological and cognitive explanations both play a role in understanding mood disorders. Treatments include medication and psychological therapy, CBT and REBT. Remember the key studies: Oruc et al., 1997, and Seligman et al., 1988. For more detailed diagnostic criteria, always refer to professional classification tools like the DSM-5-TR and ICD-11. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to review your notes and take care of your mental health. This is Mr. Luis wishing you well. Remember, understanding mood disorders helps us support those who live with them and understand ourselves better.